So I've got a gig coming up. I'm going to play some music with my modular synths, and luckily for me and Look Mum No Computer are just about to release a new module, the 2001 sequencer, which is going to be a big help.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? So this is the module. This is the 2001 performance. It's not actually called the performance sequencer. That's the performance VCO here that we've previously released. But actually, it's in the same spirit. One of the things I think that Look Mum No Computer does so well with his modules, designing them, is to make all of the most useful features super available on the panel and pretty immediate, so that you can reach them during a performance. And for myself, coming from more traditional music background, playing guitars and pianos and stuff, modular stuff sometimes is a bit annoying because it's sometimes quite hard to extract the sounds from it. You have to work quite hard, whereas if you pick a guitar, you can pretty much immediately just play it and make it do what you want it to do. So that performance focused design definitely is also the ethic that's gone into this sequencer here. And obviously this is a shrunk down Eurorack version of Look Mum No Computer's big Cosmo format design. And if I say so myself, I've done quite a good job of keeping this ergonomic, so that it's just quite pleasurable to interact with and play. The knobs aren't too close together, basically, and everything is spaced out and available. There's no menu diving and stuff like that. We're not really into menu diving. We want everything to be there immediately. So when you have that musical intuition in your brain, you can just translate it to your fingers and the music straight away. That's what you want in it. So, obviously, the most important, obvious feature of this thing that differentiates it from other stuff are these awesome capacitive touch pads here, which I really love because it, again, brings that tactile, immediate element into the modular, which I'm always trying to do. And of course, this has the usual features of every sequencer. It goes backwards and forwards, and that's controllable externally with an external clock. Obviously, it's got reset input, and it's also got a 0, which is quite interesting. So it makes it go off of the steps. So there's not a step selected, which is very useful. You've got top row here, which is 8 steps, and that can be taken out as a CV output from row 1 here. And you've got a second row under here, but you've also got a merge so that you can go between them, and you've got 16 steps, and you can have 2 8 steps and a 16 step at the same time if you want to, which is pretty cool. And I love the switches that are on the panel here, so you can reset it and 0 it right there just with simple switch. You've got switches here as well that select between triggers, gates and off, so that you can do rhythm stuff with this and sequence drums, for example. And you've got separate jack outs here for those steps as well to send off to trigger other stuff in your modular, which is really useful. And obviously those will work when you're doing the capacitive touch pads, and it's highest note priority. And if you watch this light here, if you could see when I touch the touchy pads, then it also sends out a gate so that you can put that into an envelope generator, which is controlling filter cutoff or something, so you can play this just like a keyboard. It's a keyboard sequencer, that's why. Hey. So let me take you through a bit of the other parts of my setup here that we've obviously got the modular case, and we're going to go into more depth of what else is in this as we go. I've also got over here, quite unusually, like a Zoom recorder, an 8-track Zoom recorder here, and I'm using it a bit strangely because what I've got on here, I've recorded some guitar and I'm using it like a looper because it has got a feature there where you can loop the tracks that you've recorded, and all of the recordings that I've made of guitar are different lengths, so as they loop around they overlap in different ways every time they play, which is quite fun. There you go. I think adding some organic kind of elements into the electronic modular thing really makes it come alive. We've also up here got some pedals. It's just providing mostly the Eventide space here, doing some reverb on most things. We've got a little sequencer down here which is doing the melody of the top row here, and everything going through my mix. And that's pretty much it. So let's dive a little bit further into this modular case here, using a load of other Look Mum No Computer modules and my own modules. In fact, the only modules that you're hearing are made by me, which is pretty cool. It's really cool to be able to have a modular case where everything in it was made by you. So going from here, we've got my VCO, we've got a bandpass filter that I make that I haven't released yet. So if you want me to release that, why don't you comment down below. And moving over here, we've got a clock divider, which is dividing this clock that you can see on the Music Thing Modular Overdrive here, and you'll obviously hear what it correlates to, and that is dividing that down, and the SQ1 is providing some different melodies to that. It's on the random setting, so you hear there, it's held on extra long there, which kind of brings a bit of variation not only in the melody but in the rhythm of the pitch changes, which is nice, and it just keeps it a bit fresher. And the actual bass sound that you're listening to is provided by this module down here, which takes these things. This is a 35mm photographic slide, and if you're too young to know what this is, before you had phones, you had film cameras, and you'd take them to the shop, they'd develop them, and they'd give them back to you mounted like this. You could plop them in your slide projector, and then you could bore all of your friends senseless with your holiday photos. This one is a little bit more interesting. This is Neil Armstrong's holiday photos. So you've got the Earth here, photographed from the command module of Apollo 11. It's pretty cool. I've got a slide little viewer here. Let me see. Oh, there you are. That is the Earth. Pretty cool. And what this module does is it takes these slides and it scans them, and it turns the transparency into waveform. So the more transparent the slide is, the more light it's let through to the sensor, and that correlates to, you know, a higher amplitude within that section of the waveform scanned across the photograph. And obviously you can move it in and out past the scanner, and then so this is actually a wavetable. This is a stored set of wave shapes, a memory card. So you put it in the little slot down here, and then depending on the amount of times it scans it a second is the pitch of the picture, of the sound. Pictures, sound, basically the same thing. You can pretty much everything in the visual realm has an audio equivalent. So blur is a low pass filter. If I turn up the low pass filter here, you hear more obvious changes as I move that in and out. This is also in development, so if you want me to make this, then I need you to sign up to my Patreon, basically, because this is an expensive module to develop, and I can't right now. So if you sign up to the Patreon, I can make this. Anyway, so that's providing the bass sound, which is controlled by the 2001 keyboard sequencer. And from the gate output here, I'm sending that into my friend Jack's envelope generator here, Beep Boop Modular, which is providing a nice little slope here, which is controlling my bandpass filter here, my Vactoral powered bandpass filter. Bit of a spicy note there. I like that one. Yeah, and pretty much that is the bass sound. Very, very simple, but I quite like a lot of simple modular sounds, you know? Just quality. And so let's talk a bit more about the plinky plunkies that are going on up here. So, this is coming from my 3340 VCO, which is based on the Curtis chip, the CM3340. I'm taking the ramp output from that, and that is then going, if we follow this, into the 1114 filter GUR. This is a Look Mum No Computer filter module, which has been shrunk down to Eurorack by me, and it sounds absolutely delicious. Pretty cool, yeah. So there'll be links below to a demo of this one as well if you want to check that out, as well as the Performance VCO. We're getting loads of these modules out now as well, cool. And on that note, there is also a little secret module just over here. That is this thing. I'll give you a sneak peek. This is the PT2399 splashback, triple splashback. This is 3 delays in one module, and it sounds amazing, because when you start stacking up delays, it starts getting really complex and complicated and sounding more like a kind of reverb and stuff, and it bounces around all over the place, and this knob here has influence on the timings of all the 3 delays, which can go out of phase with each other, and it's well cool. Watch out for this one coming your way. Anyway, that was just a little sneak peek of the 2399 splashback. And it's sounding pretty cool, if you ask me. We've also got here the cutoff of the filter being controlled by an envelope generator. This one, if you can see that, I have built on a strip board panel, which is pretty cool. So let's turn the knob, and that increases release. This is just simple, really simple attack release envelope generator. In fact, actually, there's no control over the attack. It's just on. So it's super simple, but quite effective in shaping the sound. And I've doubled up filters because the filtered sound is also going through another of my bandpass filter modules, which are coming soon. There's videos on Patreon of this already. If you remember, you're way ahead on things coming down the road and other fun projects that are going on with vintage electronics and stuff. So there's a link below to Patreon as well. Also in this module we have the beautiful music thing modular mini drive. I will admit I'm not actually using it for any sound in this. I just love the bulb here, and you know, when you're doing a gig you want flashy lights to make it interesting, and so I've also added this module here, which I've talked about on Patreon, and I'm not going to talk about it here. You need to be on Patreon to know about this cool module. I've also got in here, just for some visual fun, the Apollo Disky display panel. This is a backlit blank panel that is imitating the Disky display. This is the computer display for the guidance computer of the Apollo spacecraft that took all of the guys to the moon, and this is what it looked like at the exact moment where the computer malfunctioned on the way right down to the surface of the moon. They were very close to the surface, and the computer got overloaded, and nobody at that moment knew exactly what this code means, 1202, and they radioed down to Houston, and they said, can you clarify what's going on with the 1202? And luckily one of the guys had done a simulator, and he had a note. They never expected this was never expected to ever happen, and he luckily had a clever guy on his team who said, it's fine, keep going. So this nearly aborted the lunar landing mission. So a little bit of history there for the nerds. It's quite fun to see if anybody notices it and knows what it is. Anyway, this is available in the shop. And there's also a tutorial on Patreon of how to make yourself one of these segment displays. You can display any 4-letter word that you want. I'll leave that up to your imagination. Anyway, I think that just about covers the case. I'm also using this VCA here to vary the amount of control voltage that's coming from this envelope generator to the filter, which is really handy to be able to have a fine adjustment on that amount. It's inbuilt into this module here. You've already got a CV amount. In fact, it's an attenuverter, so you can go the other way, which is really cool. So I've got to keep practicing because I've got a gig coming up, and I've got to learn all of the cues to wrangle this stuff into being musical, which, let me tell you, is not so simple. When you see people performing with modular gear, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. You should give them some respect, because this is not as easy as playing a guitar, unless you have one of these keyboard sequences, in which case it's a doddle. The links are below, so go check out Look Mum No Computers demo version when it comes out, and go and visit the shop. There's loads of other cool stuff on there as well. Why not have a look, eh? Why not treat yourself? Christmas is coming up, isn't it?